So in July 2024, we released a number of platform updates. So the first thing, which is more likely quite minor for most people, is we made a small change to cloud credential pools. So for those that are not familiar with these, we have done a lab developer workshop which included these. A credential pool allows you to store pools of credentials that you would normally use for accessing some sort of web-based application. So imagine you want to create labs on, let's say, a HR product. Let's say something like HiBob as a HR product, for example. One way you might do that is you might pre-create loads of credentials and then give them to Skillable, and then it would give different user accounts out to each user. Okay. There are mechanisms where actually the credentials can be downloaded from an external source. So effectively, we can pull the credentials in. There's some ways that can be achieved. One of the things that we find a lot now with cloud-based applications is when you're using temporary accounts, so maybe trials, evaluations, those sort of things. When you create the credentials only have a certain life, 20 days, 30 days. So basically what we can now do is we can now actually have attached to the credentials the actual expiry of those credentials. So we don't start giving the user credentials that have expired. So if you don't use this feature, it's pretty unlikely that it's important to you, but ultimately for the customers that do use this, this could be pretty useful for them. The other thing on the Skillable Connect front, so API related, is we just fixed a bug related to one of our API calls. So again, this is highly likely something that you would never have noticed. The details API call, which is actually the one that allows you to look at the status of a lab instance, get all the results of a lab instance once it's finished, all those sort of things, was duplicating the result data. Okay, so chances are for an existing API integration, they would have never noticed because of the way we pull data and access it. Okay, but obviously the downside is there was a big increase in the actual content, big increase in the content that was being downloaded. Oh, Andrew, it's been shown in the UI 2 as well. That should be fixed as well. Yeah. Insights. So a number of you are Insights users. Obviously, if you don't use Insights, you're more than welcome to reach out to us for our data reporting platform. We had some scalability issues effectively with it, so we've changed the way some of the data is harvested and collected so that we could refresh the data more often, so we can always guarantee that we've got up-to-date daily data. We do harvest the data on a daily basis for the reporting system, because really Insights is about understanding trend and those sort of things. It's not about looking at what's happening now. Okay, that's why you go to Studio where the raw data is. Insights is about, you know, what happened last week, what happens over the last month, what's happened over the last quarter, those sorts of concepts. Okay, so just a small update there to just make the data more robust in terms of the frequency it's refreshed and so on. Skillable Studio. Okay, so first and foremost, we've released we're in the process of releasing a new score report. Okay, so when I say release, that's a bit cheeky. It's in the platform, and we're just about to start looking at potentially having a beta program for skills. So I know some of you would know that we've talked about skilling as part of the lab developer workshops. We had a conversation around it in May, and it was again mentioned in the June lab developer workshop. So for those that didn't attend those, and maybe this is new to them, one of the things that we're hopefully going to be bringing out quite soon in our platform is the ability to attach skills to lab profiles. So basically taking skills taxonomies, getting them imported into our platform, whether they're industry standard ones or whether these are your own bespoke ones, and then you can attach these to labs. So basically, if someone completes this lab, these are the skills that they can achieve. And the idea is, if I just go into the instructions, okay, let me just come out of here. Also, did we close that? I meant to select that slider. I'll talk about that box in a little bit. You can then attach the skills to your activities. Okay, so then we have a new score report, which is skills based. So it actually scores based on the skills that people have actually got right and wrong. So you get the score for the activities, plus you also get the skills percentage. So how many? So if there was like 4 activities that all tested for the same skill, what percentage of those 4 activities did you get right against that skill, for example? So that's the idea. So that will be coming in a beta phase pretty soon, and be released at some point this year. So that's all in the platform now. So if you're interested in skilling, look out for the announcements, and I'm pretty sure we can get you onboarded into the beta program if you're interested in that. Also, something else that got updated is we have released some new AWS services. Okay, so we've released support for Audit Manager and Access Analyzer. However, these are not available to customers sort of straight out the box. Effectively, we've gated them. So you have to contact us if you might want to create AWS labs that use either of those services. Okay. The reason we sort of gate these sort of things initially, because we've got our Challenge Lab team using them, is when you talk about cloud platforms, all the cloud platforms have advantages and they have different disadvantages. You know, one of the challenges with AWS is the way resources get torn down. It's not intelligent about the way that happens, and it relies on the people deleting the resources to delete things in the right order and so on. So, you know, whereas we've enabled this, we just need some, you know, basically some labs that actually go and really test this before we just make it generally available. But it's pretty likely it'll be generally available within the next 2-3 months. Again, you know, next quarter sort of time frame, if anyone's interested in those. But if you wanted to get access earlier than that, reach out to your account exec and we can have a conversation. Other things, some of you, if you've actually played with this at all, we've had AI capability in our instructions for quite a while through the AI menu and the AI chat service. The AI menu system stopped working a little while ago because Microsoft depreciated the AI model that we was using before. So everything that's AI related in our platform now has been switched over to GPT-4. Okay, so the AI and the AI chat features, and we will actually talk about those as we get into the instructions editor, are all now using GPT-4. So a bit of an update there. I just brought that right up to date. The last thing that I would like to talk about, just in terms of new features, is the template gallery. Okay, so we use the template gallery a lot on the lab developer workshops because we normally go in and sort of say hit create new, and then we get you to hit the sort of my organizations so you can use the sort of template that's in here. But we've always, or for quite a long time, we've had a public template gallery. Okay, and if I'm completely honest, whereas the sort of idea and the concept of the template gallery before was, you know, really good, unfortunately, it didn't get loved like we would like it to. So a lot of templates got very much out of date. There were some quality issues with some of the templates. They started getting added and things, and some stuff was over locked down, and so on. So there was a project that started a few months ago, of which you know, I'm one of the people on the project. There's sort of five of us in the team, and we're completely reimagining the content that's going into the template library. So whereas before, I think we had something like 52 templates. Okay, we now currently only have 17. All the old ones got taken away, and we brought these new ones in. So these are the first set that we're starting with. So these are highly optimized, highly focused, you know, really sort of designed to work well on our system, but not overly sort of limited from a lockdown point of view or anything along those lines. They also deliver a much more sort of set of comprehensive guidance. So, for example, if I preview this new Visual Studio one, before we used to give you some guidance, but in my opinion, it was actually starting to be okay, but it just never got finished. And I think that was the problem with it, really. Plus, also from my point of view is, one of the things, when I'm looking at a template, what I really want to know is this template the one that I want? Okay, so one of the things that will be happening, we're just waiting for some platform changes, is there will be a new button getting added to the tiles, and that will allow you just to open the instructions window. Okay, so all you'll get is this instructions window, so it will pop up basically instantly. Okay, and this is going to give you a lot of really useful information. So if you think about, if I go looking for a template for data science, okay, I might want RStudio, or I might want Jupyter, or I might want X, or I might want Y, or NVIDIA, whatever it might be. So I want to be able to quickly see if it's got what I want. So this new instructions format we've built for what we're calling lab solutions, okay, is going to allow you to actually see what's in the template really, really quickly. Okay, so you're going to be able to actually see what all the software is in here, what its versions are, what date the environment's patched to, all those sorts of things. So these are the things you're going to be able to see in here really well, and even to the point that if you come down to things like we're going to have example scoring scripts in here and stuff to get you going. Okay, so this is the sort of new format. Okay, so at the moment we've got templates that really just focus in what we class as the base environment. So really think of those as sort of either just core operating systems, so something like an Ubuntu, or something like a Windows Server, for example, or something that's got a specific use, like Visual Studio running in a Docker, but there's nothing else there. So there's no content in any shape or form. So that's generally the idea behind those. The next things that we're then working on are basically environments that contain software. So we've started to deploy some of these. So we've got the Office ones, because they were quite easy to build. Hopefully this month we will deploy, this week we will deploy some data science ones, which will appear in here, and we're going to work through the categories and actually start to build out sort of templates. What we're also going to do is we're going to keep them up to date. So we don't know what the update cadence is going to be, because it's going to be specific to the environment. So for example, you take something like Windows Server, because they do the sort of H1, H2, H1, H2, chances are that's what we'll do. We'll do them based on the sort of half-yearly releases type concept. So different things will change, or the frequency of update will change. But also notice, even though it's not as pretty as we'd like it at the moment, everything's now got a publish date. So you know when it was created and put in the template gallery. And as you saw, everything has a date when it was patched to. So straight away, you can really easily work out, is this where I need to be? Okay. The last thing that will be coming, okay, is actually, and there isn't anything in here at the moment, is contains instructions. So these are going to be templates that are built really on our topic areas, okay, but they're going to have lab instructions built into them. So there's going to normally be things like a sandbox scenario, there'll be a learning lab, and there'll be a skills validation lab. Now, they're only going to be small labs, but they're going to be working examples of, look what you can do with this. Okay, so it's basically to get people started, and those sort of things. So hopefully you like what you see there from the template gallery. And again, ultimately, I'm one of the people, part of the team for this, driving this. And I heard a vicious rumor that I might become completely responsible for this. So got anything you want to see, email me. Anything that's amiss, let me know, and I'll make sure that I get it fixed. Okay, so hopefully that's something that's useful as well. Thank you for your comments, Andrew. Greatly appreciated there. Cool. So that gets us to the platform updates. I've not seen any questions pop in. I know everyone's really excited to get to the main subject, but of course, if you do have any questions about that, then obviously, or any of those things, please feel free to just to reach out in the chat or after the event. No problems at all. Okay.